Welcome back on this beautiful Saturday morning. Here for another rendition of See You Sunday, Week 7, an Off the Ball Network exclusive. Got my guy Mo here. Got a couple more people coming on later on in the morning. But starting off with my guy Mo. Mo, how's it going, man?
All good, bro. Beautiful Saturday, beautiful weekend. Ohio State played Penn State, big time game. Some good games on Sunday, and I don't have to be stressed out twice because Dallas got a bye week.
There you go. I unfortunately am going to be stressed out the entire weekend because USC plays Utah tonight, and like we were just talking about before we started this live, Utah has owned us the last couple of years, and with this defense the way it was looking like, basically all season, all of last season, I'm not overly enthusiastic or confident in this team to get the job done tonight, given Utah's quarterback's not in. And then I got to deal with Washington playing the Giants tomorrow, which we all know the Giants are trash. Commanders are only slightly better trash. And with divisional games and against the Giants, especially, it's one of those things. I'm not really excited for either. I'm not overly confident for either one, but my guy. What's going on, Kenneth? See, you already got your predictions on for the game later on today. Penn State 34-24.
He doesn't believe that.
Oh, I didn't write that. No. Sorry, man.
He doesn't.
That was from a different show that I did, different college football show, because I love college football so much. But appreciate you having me on, Cruz, as always, for See You Sunday. Mo, I hope your Buckeyes do pick up a win today, but we'll see.
Did you take us, or did you just leave that game alone?
I haven't dove into college football yet. I'm sweating out some EPL early morning soccer action right now before I decide whether or not I'm diving into college football today.
Yeah, I'd leave that game alone if I was you, from a betting perspective.
I'd have to see the line.
But either way, we're starting this Saturday off like we do every Saturday, and starting off with the Off the Ball Network power rankings. Now, it's interesting because Jelani had made a TikTok about it. I had made a comment about it because we all know the rankings come to me. I'm the one that does the putting them together. So I get to see what's going on in everybody's head once a week. The Chargers at 14.
Insane.
Disrespectful to the rest of the NFL.
What the hell? Like, insane. We question that team. My only thing is because we question that team coming into Monday. That matchup, both teams had questions, right? Like, it was pressure on, can Dallas go 4-2, go into the bye week, feel good after the butt whooping they took from the 49ers? Then it's like, the Chargers, can Justin Herbert win a big game and this and that, da-da-da. And then they lose. Close game, by the way. Like, it's not like Chargers got blown out, nothing like that. But at the end of the day, they're sitting 2-3. I'm sorry. I just don't think, when their trend has been not winning close games, I don't think they're the 14th best team, for the simple fact they cannot win close games. Like, that's my thing, is like, anytime it's a close game, you come out on the losing end. And I just, roster-wise, they're one of the best rosters in the NFL. Their defense stinks. And I don't want to say Justin Herbert can't get it done, because I think it has a lot to do with play calling more than Herbert making the plays. Granted, I say that after he threw the interception that ended the game. But bro, Staley's gone, by the way. Like, I also am not ranking a team high whose head coach is going to be fired after this year. He's easily not keeping a job. There's no way in hell you bring him back.
You can't. You can't bring him back after, especially if the season keeps going the way it's going now. So here are the individual rankings. As you can see, myself, Mo, Cole, Aaron, Jelani, Ken, Chris, and one of our newest members.
Chargers at like 14 or 15.
He has him at 9.
I think I put him at 20.
You had him at 23.
Oh, jeez. I think I might have been a little disrespectful.
No, I don't think so.
They're not 23, bro. Like, let's see who's 23.
They're definitely not 9 or 11, 12, or 13.
No, for sure.
I put them at 11, yeah.
Really?
I look at all the teams behind the Chargers. Like, let's say, 14 is where they're at now. I don't think any team behind them is better than them, regardless of record. Like, who behind them is better than them right now?
The Texans.
If you put them head to head on a
Texans?
neutral site,
Texans.
I think the Rams.
I
Maybe
think
though,
the
like that
Texans.
defense still isn't very good either.
Who, the Rams?
Yeah,
The Rams defense isn't the greatest this year either.
Pittsburgh
So
has no offense. Jets has no offense. Texans.
I'm
OC
just
team.
on the
Don't
net on the
trust Ritter. Don't trust Carr. Don't trust Howell. Don't trust Gardner Minshew. Don't trust Jordan Love. Vegas doesn't even have a QB, and then don't even worry about the last column. Like for
I
me,
will say they probably favor.
and I had them ahead of Tampa, which I'm not very high on Tampa. I had them at 15. Like I'm not putting Baker Mayfield ahead of them either. Like I don't believe in Baker. I think that he had a very easy schedule out of the gate, and he's going to crash back down to earth. The Seahawks were a playoff team a year ago, so I guess that's a close one. And I had it as a close one. Like I have Seahawks, I think, one spot behind them. And then Cleveland, like I don't want to overreact to one win. I don't want to overreact to that San Francisco win. We know that 9 times out of 10, San Francisco beats Cleveland. And that just happened to be perfect conditions, injuries, everything that led to that victory. So that's why I have the Chargers there. I kind of have them there as default because I don't think that they're a top 10 team, which is why I have them 11. But I just don't believe in any of the teams behind them. So regardless of record, I'm just not that high on them.
Is it more giving Herbert the benefit of the doubt because everybody behind him, he's a better quarterback than? Like, it's not a bad thing to give Herbert the benefit of the doubt, but I'm just, when you look at, if you have him at 11, literally every team you have behind him, and outside of if you have Cincinnati behind him, like Justin Herbert's better than the opposing team's quarterback. Every single one. The close ones would be if you got Cincinnati behind them, and close would be the Rams. Like if you have Matthew Stafford behind them. Outside of that, right now today, Justin Herbert is way better than everybody else's starting quarterback that would be behind him. Which I think is like the benefit of the doubt for the Chargers is like if they match up against any of the teams and it comes down to what quarterback can get the job done late in the game, I'm with you on, I would assume it'd be Justin Herbert over.
Their 3 losses are by a combined 8 points.
I think that's a problem more than it's like.
I know. I'm just saying, like, it's not as if, like, look, the Tennessee loss isn't great. Obviously, they're at 25. But then you lose a very tight one to the number 1 seed in the rankings, which is Miami, and the number 9 team, which is Dallas. Both are within a field goal. So I don't think that they're that far off. So, yes, the record says 2-3. They're about to play the Chiefs this week, so probably move to 2-4. And then I think they get into the part of their schedule where they can maybe make up some ground because you got Bears, Jets, Lions, Packers. I think you go 3-1 over that stretch. And then we're just talking about the Chargers being like 5-5. And we're like, okay, they're all right.
So let me ask you guys this, just you guys personally, because obviously we all have our own power rankings. We all have our own criteria that we put into this. Do you guys consider how they win or lose certain games?
Yeah, I think
Yes.
there's a difference between giving up like Denver, for example. They lost giving up 70 points. Like to me, that's egregious and should be punished by dropping below other teams.
Like who you lose to and how you lose matters. Like, I mean, for instance, and I know it'd be coming from like a bias because of being a fan of the team, but like when Dallas got whooped, I dropped them to 14. Like, you're not going to lose 42-10 and then like sell me on this is still a great team. Like the way they were talked about prior to losing 42-10 was like, oh, obviously I know we hear it every year, but like this Dallas defense was absolutely amazing. At the very least, they were like, we still don't believe in Dak, but this defense is amazing. Michael Parsons, defensive player of the year. And then you go and lose 42-10. Like, I'm going to penalize you for that. It could have been Dallas. It could have been the Bengals. It could have been a team that I don't love or hate. It doesn't matter. You get penalized for losing the same, like 42-10 when you're supposed to like send a message that we're here and we're one of the top teams in the NFC, and then they absolutely obliterate you. Like, yes, to me, the way you lose matters.
If you lose by one score, then it's like, okay, Dallas is probably dropping a couple spots, but they kept it close with San Fran. We kind of assumed that they were going to lose anyways. So
yeah, you respect
but when you get blown out, then yeah, I think everyone course corrected and said, whoa, we had Dallas up at like 4 or 5. They're like 8 or 9. Mo was hard on them, dropping them to 14.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I say my bias was like, I'm hard on him. It was
we all get emotional with the rankings. I mean,
yeah, the upset being a fan.
Commanders probably at 32, and then they beat the Falcons, and then he had them at like 10. So that happens.
Yeah, you get emotional with your team or the couple players that you do like and dislike. And I will say that's the thing about the personal rankings is like when you pull these up, like you can kind of tell, I say people's agenda. Like you could tell who likes who doesn't like who when you looking at like so and so, he's not high on them at all. Like, and then if they explain it, you'd be like, okay, we also push our agendas in these rankings without actually pushing the agenda.
I'm very much pushing my anti-Dolphins and Lions. Right.
It was inevitable. The Dolphins were going to be back at number one. It was inevitable. And then they're probably going to drop this week again, and then they'll rise back to the top because they'll play a bunch of bad teams in between.
We know that everyone in the left column is a playoff team, and half the teams in the second column are. So they're just going to move up and down.
Yeah, like it's just that whole 1 through probably 10, 1 through 12, 13 is just they're going to fluctuate a lot. Like a lot.
Yeah. The Bengals have made quite a run. They were down. I don't remember where they were at like week.
They got into the 20s for sure.
They were in the 20s for sure because I had them at like 23, 24.
They're creeping back up.
I don't know if I ever took them out of the top 15, which again, I think it's probably just me giving credit to. I think that the Bengals were the one team that started slow that really deserved the credit because like the Chargers, they fold in the playoffs, but like the Bengals, AFC Championship and Super Bowl the last 2 years. So yeah, they got out to a slow start, but
they started slow last year.
It was mostly because of the Burrow injury as well, which it seems like he's starting to get back to 100%.
Yeah. Also, yeah, and the one thing I've noticed about the last 2 seasons with the Bengals, Joe Burrow didn't play in the preseason at all for the last 2, and I think that leads to their slow start because, like Mo said, last year they started 0-2, went 12-2 the rest of the 14-2 the rest of the way, something like that. No, 12-2 the rest of the way. I'm tripping. Like I said, made an AFC title game in the year before Super Bowl. So, I mean, he's the only person to have ever beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs.
Tom Brady.
And then Tom.
Yeah. Tom and Joe.
About Tom Brady.
I'm just saying, Tom and Joe.
We're not allowed to talk about him anymore.
Tom and Joe, the only two that can say
I did forget about Tom Brady. So that's the rankings 1 through 32. We'll see what Sunday brings. We'll see if the Giants can creep up into the 29.5 spot or if they fall to 32. I'm just waiting on the Panthers to win so we can drop the Giants all the way to 32.
So if you guys lose to the Giants, can we just put you guys as like tied for 30th? Because I don't think the Giants should move. We'll just put tied for 30th, and it'll be
if we lose to the Giants, this will be a 1 through 31 list.
Do you want the Toronto Argonauts at 32 if you guys lose this week?
Yeah.
They're really good. Chad Kelly's been great.
Bro, I'm going to be honest, bro. Where's the game at? New York or
New York? At MetLife.
I still don't care. Washington's not losing that game. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, bro. They're a bad offensive line has more offensive line injuries. Daniel Jones may or may not play. He's banged up. Saquon Barkley may or may not play. Like, he's banged up. Their team stinks. No. I don't think there's physically a way. And I understand outside of the only way it's close is because it's a divisional game. Outside of that, bro, Commanders by 10 plus.
Whoa.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know you're going to speak from a biased fan, but like, bro, New York is bad. Like, they are bad. They are
bro, you know who else was bad? The Chicago Bears were bad, and they put up 40 on us.
Yeah, but the
Bears,
there's no but. The Bears were terrible.
This is like a battle of who sucks more. We should maybe talk about games that matter a bit.
Yeah,
more.
when it comes to the Bears, though, it's also the simple fact, like, Justin Fields had like the game of his life, like 2 weeks in a row. You don't prepare for that at the end of the day. And the Giants they don't have a DJ Moore on their team. They don't have a guy that can do that. They don't have a guy that can.
The Commanders didn't prepare for anything when it came to the Bears.
I mean, is it fair to say you just feel like you walk on the field and you're good enough to beat the Bears? Like, is it fair to say pretty much every team outside the Cardinals can feel that way? Outside the Cardinals, Panthers, and Giants? Everybody else can feel like you got smacked in the mouth. That happens. Look, Dallas lost to the Cardinals, but are you going to tell me like they play again, you taking Arizona over Dallas? No, Dallas just felt like they could walk out there and beat Arizona just by showing up, and they didn't. Like, it happens. It happens to good teams, great teams. It doesn't matter. Like, You just watch San Francisco walk out there and think, oh, we're not going to lose. PJ Walker at quarterback. Yeah, we're just going to walk out there and win. And then they were in a dogfight the whole game plus injuries.
But those are actual good teams, though. Those are teams that a bad game is a bad game. The Bears loss is to me indicative of what Ron Rivera the product that Ron Rivera has put on the field for the last 4 years.
I get it. I mean, yeah, I get it. In other news, the games that are happening on Sunday outside of Washington and New York.
Because we'll get to that game in a minute.
Back to teams that matter.
You would think that's the only game played. That's
back to the relevant teams. Ken, who's your game to watch going into week 7?
I think that there's a couple obvious ones out there, but I'm going to go to Falcons Bucks in the NFC South.
You have stake in that game.
Well, no, but keep in mind that the Saints just lost on Thursday night. Derek Carr looked bad once again. Carolina's kind of out of it. So for me, this is a good barometer of who's going to potentially win the division. And the Falcons, I mean, they didn't look Ritter looked bad last week. Like, they had no business losing that game. And I think Cruz would agree that if you put Taylor Heineke out there, they might win that football game. Like
I said that in the chat. We had no business winning last week.
Yeah, like, let's face it, Ritter lost them that game. They had multiple drives in the fourth quarter that he couldn't put it away. So, and then you've got Tampa, who they just got blown out at home by the Lions. And prior to that, they had blown out the Saints, but then they've got blown out by the Eagles. Like, it's very hit and miss right now with Tampa. So I'm just interested in this game because I keep saying that I'm out on Baker and I'm in on the Falcons, and I need to be proven right on Sunday. Otherwise, I'm just going to be really upset.
Mo, with Cowboys on a bye, who are you watching this week?
There's a few games. I mean, obviously the obvious ones, but I want to stay away from the obvious ones. I'm going to say the Steelers and Rams. I think that's a good 4:00 game. I think both teams have something to prove. Like, the Rams are already, I think, better than we thought. Like, sitting at 3-3, we didn't know if this team was going to be any good. And then, like, Matt Stafford, there was in the summer, like, were they going to trade him and this and that? Teams inquired about him. Cooper Kupp comes into the season injured. Then boom, you come out and, like, Cooper Kupp Jr. is on the roster going absolutely insane. Cooper Kupp comes back. This team is actually not that bad. They could play with anybody on any given Sunday. They're one of those teams, like, they probably lose to good teams more than they win, but, like, they played it close with the 49ers. They're sitting at 3-3, and they have an opportunity to go above 500. I think San Francisco on a bye this week too.
No, they play Monday night.
Oh, okay. So, like, San Francisco could lose. Like, I don't think they lose, but I'm just saying they could lose if Christian McCaffrey and Debo don't play. Now you're sitting here a game behind first place. You know what I'm saying? Potentially tied with Seattle. Like, there's a lot of things that could go. And I'm interested to see, like, the Steelers. Like, because if they win this game, they're at 4-2. They're at 4-2. And think about it. I think this would be the ugliest 4-2 team we would have in the NFL. If the Steelers win on Sunday and they're sitting at 4-2, basically leading the division, possibly, because the Lions could beat the Ravens. Like, they could be leading the division. And I think this would be, like, the ugliest team as far as division leaders, as far as sitting at 4-2 and really making a push for the playoffs. Even though I had them, like, sneaking into the playoffs before the season, I thought Kenny Pickett would look better. I thought their offense would look better. Like, so I just want to see, like, how this game goes, because there's a lot of scenarios, but I'd really be interested to see how people would value Pittsburgh if they win, because you're talking about 4-2, possibly leading the division, but we all still would be out on, like, Pittsburgh's not a good team. They've just got the luck of the draw in their schedule right now. That's what I think would be the overall thought, but it's hard to deny a team that's 4-2 and leading their division as if they're not halfway decent, but they're literally riding on the backs of 2 defensive ends. They're as good as their defensive ends play every week.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Like, 2 D ends, that's what you're riding on. And Minkah Fitzpatrick, that's what you're riding on every week. And right now you're 3-2 doing it.
But I think that's the Mike Tomlin effect. Mike Tomlin still, after 77 years of being a coach of this team, has yet to have a losing record. We thought last year was going to be the year, and he pulled out an 8-1 record, or I think 8-1 last year.
It's crazy talking about the Steelers winning them games on defense too, because they're 30th in yards per game, they're 25th in passing, 29th in rushing, but yet TJ Watt just creates a turnover, scoop score, and we're like, oh, okay.
Like this team, the worst one of the worst offenses in football could be 4-2, and like literally on the backs of a safety and 2 ends.
Yardage wise, one of the worst defenses, but they're a turnover defense, and because of that, like they're winning games. And because I know that we're not going to mention this game as the one to watch this week, but it's wild to me that if the Raiders win this week, they're 4-3. That's wild to me that the Vegas Raiders are 4-3, because I thought that they were going to be horrendous this year.
But they've drawn the luck of the draw.
Again, like it's schedule and like
they've still been horrendous.
So like,
but their defense has been, if you think about it, like if they win, I think their defense will play good this week. I know it's 3 weeks in a row that they've got the luck of the draw playing 3 bad teams with 3 bad quarterbacks, but like their defense has capitalized on playing bad quarterbacks. Like they've been good playing against bad quarterbacks. And sometimes when you're a bad team, you don't capitalize on that. But Max Crosby's a monster. Yeah. Like he's one of those. He's a top 5 defensive end. You could argue he's the best. He's in the same conversation as the Micah Parsons and TJ Watt. And it's very underrated because we don't have much expectations for Vegas, so you don't really put them on the TV like that. But if you do, that man over there is a monster.
But we'll be talking about them potentially in 4 weeks still being in the playoff hunt, because Bears this week, I mean, if you lose to the Bears, okay, maybe not. But Lions is a loss, Giants, Jets. That's your next 3. Like that's very fortunate out of the gate. And then they run the gauntlet.
Be sitting at 6-4 through 10 weeks. And I don't think any Raiders.
And then we would be like, oh, should I bet the Raiders to make the playoffs? No. Because then you've got Miami, Kansas City, Chargers, Chiefs again. So that'll bring you back down to earth.
Yeah. You'll finish with like 7 wins.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go one route, but because that game is on at the same time as mine, I can't make the claim that that's going to be on my TV. But I do want to talk about it real quick. The Lions and Ravens, I think, is going to be a great game. I think might be one of the obvious ones you guys talked about.
Yeah, it is. It's one of the obvious ones. It's like, so yeah.
Baltimore sitting there at -3.
No D-Mon for the Lions is going to make it very interesting because they've really been leaning on him. And I think Gibbs should be back, but
they said he's expected to get majority of the workload.
So let's see if he's the guy. Because like, especially fantasy owners, we all play fantasy football. Everyone's bitching about the fact that Gibbs is getting no carries and it's all D-Mont. But let's see it now because no D-Mont there.
But I think if Commanders weren't playing at 10 o'clock, I think that'd be the game I'd pay attention to the most. But I'm going to go with the other obvious one. The Sunday night game, Miami at Philly, partly because that has a lot of implications for actually all of us. Yeah. If the Eagles lose, they're sitting at 5-2. You got the Cowboys sitting at what do you guys reckon? Are you guys 3-2 right now? Or
4-2?
You guys are 4-2.
Uh-huh.
If the Commanders are who you guys think they are, they should be sitting at 4-3. Come Monday morning, you're looking at you guys are half a game back out of first place. We're sitting at about a game and a half. And Washington still has some easy games coming up. We play the Eagles next week, I believe. So that game has
your Eagles games out of the way.
Yeah.
I just want to say this real quick, and I don't want to make this an NFC East show, but it's 3 NFC East guys.
It kind of is.
The division right now, I know me and Ken had talked about it. I talked about it. Rob, you talked about it. It looks exactly how we thought it would look. Yeah. Eagles are in front. Dallas a close second. Washington could push for the playoffs, and they'd be right there. Don't think they win the division, but they could be that wild card spot. And the Giants stink. Like, that's kind of how I thought it would be this year. And that's right now, it's what it looks like. Like, the Commanders very well could make the playoffs. And then if you would have asked Giants fans, like, we would have been the division that could have had 4 playoff teams. And prior to week 1, that could have looked plausible. Week 1 happened, and we're like, oh, yeah, the Giants are out. Yeah, even though I know they played the Cowboys, but you was like, yeah, no, this isn't a good team.
I'm just happy that the Giants aren't, well, not this week. I kind of wish the Giants were on in prime time because they're playing us. But I'm just glad the Giants aren't taking up a 5 o'clock spot.
Yeah, we've gotten enough of them. on prime time.
Four out of the first 6 weeks, and they got blown out and damn
They
near
get
all of them.
flexed though. Like if they were to play it like Sunday night this week, they get flexed.
They would. No, I think that's a weird way of spelling the New York Giants.
Yeah, it is.
But anyways, back to relevant teams.
Back to relevancy.
that was a lie. Not back to relevancy.
I'm about to say we right back
because
to
we got the rivalry game of the week. There's not a lot that I really care about. You got Arizona, Seattle. Seattle's favored by 9 or by 8 right now. Chargers, Chiefs. That one might be closer than people think right now. Chiefs minus 5.5, according to ESPN. Just with the Chiefs not looking as great, but Washington at MetLife to face the New York Football Giants. Like we've been talking about all morning, I'm not overly optimistic just because of the way it seems that whenever we play to the level of the competition. Like
Yeah.
the ever since Ron Rivera has taken over, that's what we play to the level of competition. We have like spurts that we play close games and we win them. And then I remember the year we won the division, Ron Rivera's first year, 4-game winning streak, and we were playing the Panthers, who were straight basura at the time, and could not do anything against them. They ended up losing, and I think this is what it's going to be. This is what I'm afraid that it's going to be. Right now, Commanders -3. Again, it is in MetLife. What we just did or did not do against the Bears has me more concerned than I probably should be. But I'm definitely not thinking it's going to be a 20-point blowout.
I don't think 20, but I think a win where you never thought you were going to lose is in play. Like I think you win by, even if you only win by 7, you were never really concerned. Like a guy like me and Ken, who are not Washington fans, who if we sat and watched that game, we'd be like, if you were a Washington fan, you were never concerned. Like I never thought watching this game, Washington was going to lose. It could be close, but I feel like this one of those games where Washington is just like, might have been closer than you like, but you just should have never been concerned. You're up 10, Giants score a touchdown late, but you're like, okay, we still have the ball a minute and a half left. You know, Giants probably got one timeout. All we got to do is run one play right. Like, so I'm not really worried about losing. That's what I think it fares out to be.
That's the game I think best case scenario, that'd be what that would be best case scenario for me. But again, this team does not know what comfortable wins are. My heart rate is like 120 every Sunday for 3 hours, and my Apple Watch tells me about it every time. It's like, hey, your heart rate's really high. You haven't moved in like 3 hours. You good? I'm like, no, fam, I'm not.
Ass up.
No, I'm not.
But Vince, happy Saturday, my guy. Hope your Saturday's going well. But enough about irrelevant teams.
All right.
Mo, who is your lock of the week?
All right, my lock of the week. Oh, I finally get to take it. I'm stealing one. Give me the Bills.
Yeah, I knew that's where you were going.
I'm stealing one. I've been playing like, hey, let me try and pick these. No, I'm stealing one because I think I've been 1-1 like the past 2 weeks. I'm stealing one. Give me the Bills. They're not double-digit favorites. Let me get them. I'll take a touchdown favorite this week. Yeah, let me get that. Let me get the Bills.
I hate every other game. Like when I'm going through looking for locks this week, man, it's
just pick the Bills.
Pretty slim pickings. Give me Seattle. I'll take another over a touchdown, but not quite double digit. Arizona has been far more competitive than I thought they would be, but at the end of the day, they only beat Dallas, and I think Seattle's going to run all over them. So big Kenneth Walker day. If I was betting that, I would bet 2 Kenneth Walker TDs in your parlay.
Dang, 2? Well, I have him in one of my fantasy leagues, so.
Vince says his lock is Niners over Vikings. Yeah, I wouldn't blame you.
I'd play the over in that game for sure. Vikings
44?
aren't going to stop anybody, and Kirk's going to throw for a lot of yards, even though it's in prime time.
He's going to mess around and throw for 350 garbage yards. Like,
Yeah.
he's
100%. If you've got Osborne, you got Addison, you got Hawkinson, start them all. Like he's gonna be trailing and throwing.
So Ken, who's your upset? Who you looking to ruin somebody's Sunday?
The Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos are beating the Green Bay Packers on Sunday at home.
Your Jordan Love agenda is insane.
And Jordan Love is going to lose another football game, and I'm going to take so much joy in watching Packers fans be like, "Oh, we didn't get a third Hall of Fame quarterback, did we?" And I'm going to love it. So give me those Broncos. Let's ride, Russ. Let's ride.
I've never seen somebody hate their spouse's team so much.
But
in my life.
But this is a valid one, because if you think about a lot of the Cowboys' playoff pain over the last decade, who's it come from? It's come from Green Bay. It came from Aaron Rodgers. The Dez catch, the sideline catch, like, of course I'm going to hate them. Like, I think that I want them to suck for a long time. I want them to have 20 years of misery. And then my wife finally says, you know what? I give up. I'm a Dallas fan. That's what I want.
That would be the dream. I forgot to give my lock. I'm going Chiefs over the LA Chargers. And even before the season, I did not like Justin Herbert. I've never been big on him. You guys know that. I don't think they should have paid him any of the dollars that they did. But they did, and now they are regretting it. They're going to start regretting it. Which game is more boring? Tampa Bay versus Falcons. I'd say Bears versus Raiders, just because we know that neither of those two teams are going to be competitive.
Brian Hoyer versus Tyler Badgett says enough. That is the most boring game on TV.
I don't even know who beauty pageant guy is, but good for him.
The backup quarterback for the Bears versus Brian Hoyer. Brian Hoyer has been in the league since like Madden 1997. I swear to God, he's been in the NFL for forever, like longer than Tom Brady.
Ken, what were you just celebrating? It's probably EP.
Money.
Yeah, I won a plus 900 parlay, so I'm in a good mood now. So
now you're going to go bet college football.
Yeah, now that I got the funds secured, I mean,
yeah,
there's no denying it. The parlay's hitting, the game's not even over. So I'm pretty fired up to go bet Penn State +4.
See, so if you're not watching Competitive Hedge every morning, you're missing out, because that's what you could have hit a plus 900.
I'll be honest, I didn't post that parlay, so I'm not going to take credit for it. This was 100% just I got $12 left in my account. Let's just throw together a same game parlay on some footy. Holland to score, Akanji to get a yellow card, and both teams to score. Cash it plus 850.
What was the last leg that you hit?
I needed both teams to score. Brighton was getting beat down 2-0, and then they found a way to score. So shout out Brighton.
But yeah, the Tampa Bay, the Bucks Falcons game, that actually could well be winner of this game might end up winning the division. So the way both teams have been playing, the way both teams look, that this game might come down, might determine who wins the division in week 18. Yeah, I said Chiefs for my lock. Again, I don't like Justin Herbert. I don't like the Chargers. You said Broncos were your upset. Mo, who's your upset?
Bro, the fact that I get to take a team like this as an upset, give me Detroit. Give me the Lions +3. The fact that I could take a team that's 5-1, playing great football, a high-powered offense, the defense looks stout. I love their head coach. We fell in love with him last year, on Hard Knocks. We followed the Lions. We hoped they would have some type of success. We wanted them to make the playoffs. And now they're 5-1, and I get to take them as an underdog against the banged-up terrible wide receiving core outside of Zay Flowers. Baltimore Ravens. Give me Detroit.
I'm glad we got to differ on at least one pick, and I did that on purpose because I had a feeling you were going to take Detroit because that's what I had to. Detroit +3. Given the games in Baltimore, but I don't really think that matters. Not right now. Haven't looked at the weather conditions for the game, but I don't think it's really going to matter too much. I still think Detroit's going to be definitely going to be the better team. They have been all season. I'm not that I'm not sure why they're not a favorite. It's a road game for them, and Ravens are still 4-2 at the end of the day.
And the lines are overrated. So,
hey, that might have to be one I eat at the end of the season. Like I might have to that whole coming into the season. Right now I got to eat it, but hey, you never know. Teams could come back down there. I might have to take that one. Like
I'm just saying, you go down that line schedule through 6 weeks. It's not as impressive as we think it is. Being 5-1. At the end of the day, they're 5-1, and that's what matters is the wins and losses. I'm just saying it just hasn't been as impressive as I think people.
But you remember I said they were overhyped coming into the season, and I might have to eat that take. Like, they mess around, go 12-5, 13-4. Like, hey, this team is as good as everyone said they were coming in, probably a little bit better. So I might have to eat that whole overhyped take that y'all was killing me for when I said it going into the season too. That was
I think that because it was the Lions, we were finding any reason not to pick the Lions to the point where people were talking about the Bears, about the Packers. Like, we were just trying to find any reason not to take the Lions. That's what it was.
Basically, it felt better to say they're overhyped.
By default, you're like, I'm really going to put the Lions to win the division on my betting slip. Nah. Let's go for that +400 on the Bears or the Packers.
It felt better to just not buy into the Lions
across it
and believe in it. And they're like, if you believe in it and then they're sitting here at 1-5, it's like, the Lions will be the Lions, but you don't believe in it. They're 5-1. And it's like, shut up. But you still have that thought in the back. Lions still could lion. It happens. Detroit is still Detroit. Some teams are still just the bad luck continues.
Yeah. So, like I said, mine's Detroit as well. So we got our locks in, we got our upsets in. I'm sure we'll get more throughout the chat, hopefully. That being said, let's go ahead and pay some bills real quick with our sponsors over at SeatGeek. If you're trying to go to an NFL game this weekend, maybe a Thursday night game, or you're trying to catch either of the LCS games in your area, definitely go over to SeatGeek. Use promo code OffTheBallNetwork in all caps. You get $20 off your first purchase. And that's it for our show today. It was a fun show. I think we got to talk about a lot of stuff we want to talk about. Mo, go ahead and tell the people where they can find you and what you have coming up.
Yeah, you can find me, Mo_Cheese15 on Twitter. That's really like the only place I'm active at, honestly. It's like the only social media I consistently use. Check out Phil Stormers. We'll be recording tomorrow talking about today's college football games. Me and Chris are linking between now and Monday. And Ken, hopefully, I could get you on. We're going to preview the NBA season. Maybe you'll grace Up in Flames with your presence. But sometime between now and Monday.
Might be your only chance.
Huh?
You're still Up in Flames is still active?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. I was like, let me bring it back.
No, it's not essentially like you're bringing it back.
I'm bringing it back.
Episode. It's not like, I'm just rolling with the next one. Like that was posted 14 weeks ago.
Yeah, that might be your only chance.
Yeah, honestly, this might be the farewell show for Up in Flames. So I should probably show up because when Field Stormers takes off, Up in Flames is dead.
Probably, more than likely. But that's where you can check me out.
Okay, go ahead and tell the people what you got coming.
You can follow me at HedgePod. I've kind of been inactive the last number of days, just super busy work-wise, but hoping to put out some NFL stuff tomorrow morning, get back to the daily videos. I'm talking about Up in Flames not being active. Competitive Hedge hasn't had a podcast episode in 3 weeks, but we do have those pick videos, so maybe I will go and do some sort of podcast episode today. We'll see, but appreciate you for having me on.
It's always a good time. Y'all already know where you can find me, FNC Pod on Twitter. Football and Show podcast on Facebook and Instagram. Like Mo said, I'm pretty much in the same boat as him. Twitter is the place where I'm most active as far as my podcasting goes. Once again, thank you, Mo. Thank you, Ken, for coming on. It was a fun time. Always is. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And we will see you